Hi, my name's Mary Winton, and today I'll be responding to our first discussion board about the active shooter in a high school. Surviving an active shooter situation can cause profound trauma to people of all ages. In a high school setting, students and adults who are present daily often feel a sense of safety and familiarity with that location, so the disruption of this by a mass shooting incident is particularly difficult to process or to summon an ability to demonstrate resiliency. In the proposed scenario, with 7 confirmed fatalities and at least 17 others wounded, mental health support responders should take care to consider several factors during this acute stage in order to provide effective initial care and set the survivors up for any future mental health support that may be necessary. There are several beneficial strategies for disaster mental health care. Psychological first aid, or PFA, debriefing, and social support are often the most beneficial strategies in responding to a mass shooting incident. Feelings of denial, shock, and disbelief are common, causing survivors to ask questions about how and why such an incident could have occurred. In the acute stage, mental health responders who employ the 8 core actions of PFA have a better chance of making meaningful connections with survivors because they consider the immediate physical, emotional, spiritual, and cultural needs and focus on how to meet those needs within that person's culture. It should also be noted that responding to high school students requires a different approach than would be used with adults. Developmental considerations are imperative. First responders should communicate with adolescent survivors on their current level of understanding and their experience of the disaster. Active listening is of utmost importance before offering any type of interventions beyond immediate safety and comfort. Evidence-informed strategies for responding to acts of mass violence represents a pretty small body of work in the research community. It's growing, but it still reflects the need for expansion with large gaps in research. Areas that have been researched and proven effective can be broken down into 3 categories: the pre-event phase, peri-event phase, and post-event phase. The peri-event phase represents the time during and directly following the mass shooting. The literature has reflected that strategies employed by psychological first aid have proven tremendously effective, particularly responding to any emergent needs that could result in the need for long-term mental health care in the future. Further, it's imperative that mental health responders acquaint themselves with any pre-disaster mental or physical health needs that the survivor may have had. This can inform the psychological first responder about why the survivor may be manifesting certain behaviors and how to best serve them. Personally, I've completed the psychological first aid training as well as the Stop the Bleed program referred to in the Rural Health Information article from our assigned reading in Module 3. Psychological first aid was incredibly helpful in the aftermath of Hurricane Michael, which profoundly affected our area in 2018. Thousands of people were displaced and came for assistance at the relief center based at the church where I work. We saw hundreds of people a day in the days and weeks following the storm, where we worked to meet basic needs. The 8 core actions of PFA were vital to providing support and connecting survivors with other community resources that were available to them. What I quickly learned was that while each situation was unique, the basic needs of compassion, active listening, and willingness to offer culturally appropriate understanding were universal. Christ implores believers to bind up the brokenhearted and respond with compassion and care to those who are in need, just as he demonstrated toward us. In a setting such as a mass shooting in a high school, we can respond with that same compassion and care by exercising good observation and listening skills, offering encouragement and practical tools to set survivors up for a fruitful and healed future. Please refer to the written transcript of this video for the cited references.